Today's news highlights. Date June 4, 2025. News highlights: the Legislative Yuan passed a proposal from the opposition parties on the 3rd, requiring Taichung Power Plant to achieve the goal of no coal and medium fire by 2028, which sparked heated debates between the government and the opposition. The Kuomintang pointed out that the pollution of coal power is serious, and gas should be replaced with coal at an accelerated pace. The Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, criticized the proposal as non-binding, saying that the peak of fire pollution occurred during the KMT's rule. Taipower said that the power supply of China thermal power accounts for about 14% of the whole Taiwan, and if there is no coal that may affect the stable power supply, it must first ensure alternative power sources. News highlights: on the eve of the 36th anniversary of the June 4 incident, the International League of Democracy Societies of China, CDP, launched a global commemorative campaign with the theme of Fighting for Freedom, Shared Future, and mobilized Democrats from nearly 20 countries to relay their solidarity. A number of dissidents and former members of the establishment have spoken out to condemn the CCP's continued crackdown on democracy, human rights, and freedoms, and call for the overthrow of the CCP's tyranny and the trial of its crimes. The event emphasized that the spirit of June 4 will not be extinguished, history cannot be forgotten, and the struggle for democracy and freedom is still continuing, and he looked forward to realizing true freedom and justice on the land of China in the future. News highlights: in South Korea's presidential election on June 3, Lee Jae-myung, the candidate of the Democratic Party of Korea, won about 48.4% of the vote, defeating Kim Moon-so of the Conservative People's Power Party and confirming his 21st president. Lee pledged to revitalize the economy, ensure people's livelihood and national security, strengthen national defense, and promote peace on the Korean peninsula. The voter turnout reached 79.4%, the highest in nearly 27 years. Kim Moon-so has conceded defeat and congratulated him. Lee Jae-myung, who lost the election in 2022, has successfully reversed this time and will replace the impeached Yoon Suk-yeol and immediately take power. News highlights: if your blood pressure is still high after controlling your salt, caffeine, and stress, you may want to consider curcumin. Curcumin, the active ingredient in turmeric, has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, and has been shown to improve blood vessel function and relieve blood pressure. For better absorption, it is recommended to consume with black pepper and fat-rich foods, e.g. olive oil, coconut milk. Turmeric can be added to curries, soups, oatmeal, scrambled eggs or golden lattes every day, making it easy and healthy. News highlights: a 36-year-old U.S. study found that decaffeinated coffee had no significant effect on overall cancer risk, but it may have a protective effect on specific cancers, such as reducing the risk of colorectal, prostate and oral cancers. However, men who drink large amounts, especially non-smokers, may have an increased risk of bladder cancer, which is suspected to be related to the use of methylene chloride in the decaffeinated process. Experts recommend choosing products made by Swiss washing or supercritical CO extraction and maintaining good lifestyle habits to promote overall health. News highlights: Xue Xiaojing, a dietitian, pointed out that poor memory may be the brain's cry for help, which is related to a decrease in insulin sensitivity. She recommends the MIND diet, which combines the Mediterranean and DASH diets, to help delay brain aging and prevent dementia. It is recommended to eat more berries, nuts, fish, olive oil, and dark vegetables, and less red meat and sweets. Studies have shown that long-term MIND diet practitioners can function more than 7 years younger, which is an effective dietary strategy to improve memory. News highlights: don't worry if you don't have time to exercise, doctors recommend walking about 8,000 steps a day to bring several health benefits. Studies have shown that this amount of walking is effective in burning fat, lowering blood sugar, stabilizing insulin, and reducing the risk of all-cause mortality and cardiovascular disease. Especially for the elderly and chronically ill, 6,000–8,000 steps per day has a significant effect, and for young people, it is recommended to walk to 8,000–10,000 steps. Walking with low intensity and low pressure is the easiest and feasible healthy exercise. News highlights: JP Morgan Chase and CEO Dimon warned of risks in the U.S. bond market, while Treasury Secretary Bessent denied the possibility of default. Nobel laureate economist Clermont pointed out that the United States used to be regarded as the ultimate safe asset, but the Trump administration's policies have increased market uncertainty and damaged investor confidence, which may face serious warnings. Harvard professor Rogoff warned that rising U.S. interest rates could hurt the economy and the dollar as Treasury bonds climb and policy risks rise. Allianz advisor Ilan and New York University Robinai both believe that bond market pressure will force the Trump administration to rein in aggressive policies, otherwise it may lead to stagnant inflation and increased political risks, and even affect the 2026 election. News highlights: Wei Zhijia, chairman of TSMC, said that orders for humanoid robot chips are strong, and relevant results can be reflected in the financial report this year, driving the robot supply chain such as Heda, Mengli, and Shangyin to usher in order growth. The joint reducer of Heda Group has entered the testing stage, and it is planned to set up a robot division. Menjiang has an annual output of 100,000 sets of harmonic reducers and began to ship. Shanghai Bank Group and Hechun are actively expanding robot parts and AI logistics robots. Bintai and Taiwan Jinggrui have shown growth potential in the robot market with automation equipment and precision reducers. News highlights: the opposition parties yesterday passed a resolution in the Legislative Yuan to go coal-free in 2028, but Taipower Chairman Zheng Wenzheng warned that if the Taichung thermal power plant achieves coal-free by 2028, it will face the risk of paralysis of the power system. At present, the 9 units of China thermal power account for about 14% of the power generation, which is equivalent to the scale of 6 units of nuclear power plants 1 to 3, and it is difficult to reduce coal in advance. Zheng Wenzheng called on the National Assembly to carefully evaluate and put forward a plan to stabilize the power supply, otherwise it must be fully supported by the extension of nuclear energy, and the problem cannot be solved by the restart of the third nuclear power plant alone. News highlights: more than 40 years have passed since the Orchid Island nuclear waste storage site was set up in 1982, when the government used the Aboriginal Reserve as a nuclear waste storage site without the informed consent of the local Daho people, sparking years of protests and social controversy. Today, there is still no solution to the decommissioning of nuclear power plants and the transfer of fuel rods, and the planning of dry storage sites has once again made waves, highlighting the profound test of Taiwan's energy policy and generational justice on the issue of nuclear waste. News highlights: Taiwan has entered a non-nuclear homeland, and after the shutdown of Unit 2 of the No. 3 nuclear power plant, thermal power generation has been fully turned on to fill the gap, which has led to the aggravation of air pollution problems, especially in the central part of the country. PM2.5 particulates emitted from the Taichung thermal power plant are harmful to their health, causing untold suffering to residents. Huan Tuan is calling for the promotion of coal-free, replacing polluting electricity with clean energy, and achieving the win-win goal of stable power supply and healthy life. News highlights: as green energy facilities solar panels and wind turbines are becoming obsolete, and if there is no recycling system, it may lead to a new environmental disaster. Experts warn that green electricity is not completely clean, and a large number of installations may damage the ecology, and waste will become unexploded bombs. AI-assisted recycling and resource recycling technologies are seen as a possible solution, but only by comprehensively deploying policies, industries, and technologies can we truly achieve a sustainable green transformation. News highlights: in recent years, Korean stars have toured Taiwan, which has led to the explosion of the concert economy after the epidemic. From the first half of 2025 to May, there have been nearly 100 Korean star ticketing activities, with a total box office revenue of more than 1 billion yuan. Taehyun made her debut at the Taipei Arena and won the championship with 145 million yuan, followed by BTS member J-Hope with 120 million yuan, and the girl group Platter K-Flow 3 ranked third with 106 million yuan. The top 5 box office is dominated by the 4 major entertainment companies SM, HYBE, YG, and JYP, demonstrating the strong gold attraction of Hallyu in Taiwan. News highlights: Lee Jae-myung, a human rights lawyer and candidate of the opposition Democratic Party of Korea, was elected president of South Korea with 48.8% of the vote. Kim Moon-so, the candidate of the Conservative National Power Party, conceded defeat. The by-election was held early due to the impeachment and ouster of former President Yoon Suk-yeol, and Lee Jae-myung will officially take office on June 4 and serve until 2030. News highlights: in order to celebrate her daughter's graduation, a parent of Nanza Middle School in Kaohsiung boldly ordered 11 large wreaths, spending more than 20,000 yuan, attracting nearly 30,000 netizens. Wreaths lined up at the school gate, and the words celebrating the successful graduation of Chen XX were written, which made her daughter instantly popular on campus. Parents expressed a desire to be different and make special memories, and the school appreciated the students' excellent performance. Creative bouquets for graduation season are constantly on the topic, from bears and dolls to roast duck bouquets, and the styles are becoming more and more diverse. News highlights: Jiao Tianding, the mayor of Daepengli, Xindian district, New Taipei City, was exposed to the artillery regiment organized by politicians and businessmen to go to China and Vietnam to buy prostitution, causing controversy. Although Zhou denied the accusation, saying that he was retaliated against by his ex-girlfriend publicly complained that he had conceived twins for him but had a miscarriage due to an emotional breakdown, revealing that he had gone abroad many times, split his legs and dated many women. The incident aroused the attention of public opinion, and Jiao Tianding's image was hit hard. News highlights: the mother and daughter surnamed Nia Huning in Taipei mistakenly believed in the investment fraud of the impersonated Wood Mouse brothers and lost 12 million yuan, but when they reported the case, they were ridiculed by the police, and finally both committed suicide. Recently, an investigation revealed that the financier behind the fraud syndicate is actually Lin Zhongwei, a well-known jeweler who has been dealing in diamonds for more than 20 years. The police found out that he cooperated with Chinese people to sell tether, handled 2 billion yuan in transactions within half a year, and made tens of millions of illegal profits, shocking the society. News highlights: Taiwanese actor Chen Kangyu, a singer known as Little Wang Liu, went to work in Thailand last year but was abducted by a fraud syndicate and became a victim of human trafficking. He and 7 other Chinese were tricked into working as casino openers, but in fact they were sold to Myanmar, where they were subjected to electric shocks, beatings, abuse, and even resold more than 20 times. After suffering and returning to Taiwan in March this year, he recently shared a video of the police cracking the fraud group on Facebook, angrily blasting "Don't even think about running away," expressing his anger and hatred for the human snake group. He also revealed that after returning to Taiwan, he relied on strong willpower to recover, and vowed not to be silent anymore and to speak out for more victims. News highlights: Korean boy band N.S. debuted for nearly 2 years and won the first music program championship with Love Potion, and its popularity soared. Taiwanese member Fang Yujia brought his teammates to Taiwan for the first time to sing, and interacted with fans in authentic Taiwanese. The life of the dormitory of the group members is full of interesting jokes. Australian Robin minds sleeping in bed without taking a bath the most, and the cooking king is the old man Ziwan. The languages of the members of N.S. are a mix of Chinese, Japanese, and English, showing the charm of multiculturalism. On June 13th, a new album Itty Bitty will be released, and he promises to come to Taiwan often to meet fans, and the future development is highly anticipated. News highlights: affected by the stock market crash in April, the Labor Fund lost 199 billion yuan in the first 4 months of this year, and the new Labor Retirement Fund lost 130.5 billion yuan, with an average book loss of about 10,000 yuan per worker. Hong Shenhan, Minister of Labor, said that the water level of the Labor Insurance Fund still maintains a trillion yuan scale, and there is a guaranteed income mechanism, and income fluctuations do not affect labor payments, and workers do not need to worry. The main reason for the stock market crash was the high tariffs imposed by the United States, which caused Taiwan stocks to fall by more than 2,000 points in a single day, a record high. News highlights: South Korea's new president, Lee Jae-myung, took office on June 4, 2024, and will serve until June 3, 2030. Born into poverty, he was a former human rights lawyer and governor of Gyeonggi Province, and was supported for his pro-labor, hardline anti-corruption image, but his political career was marked by controversy and lawsuits. Lee advocated making South Korea one of the world's top 3 AI nations and promoting economic, diplomatic, and political reforms, including constitutional amendments to allow for re-election of the president and restrictions on martial law. Its diplomatic line is more pragmatic. It tends to balance relations between the United States, China, and Russia, and its policy toward Taiwan is relatively low-key. Experts believe that under his leadership, South Korea will strengthen cooperation between the United States and South Korea, and regional security will have a positive impact on Taiwan. News highlights: Lin Zhenjie, the founding father of the Democratic Progressive Party, died of illness in the early morning of the 3rd at the age of 73. Lung adenocarcinoma is mostly found in the edge of the lungs, and most of them are in the upper lobes, which are closely related to environmental factors such as air pollution and oil smoke. Physician Cheng Jianbo reminded high-risk groups such as long-term smokers, cooks, workers exposed to exhaust gases and those with a history of lung disease to undergo regular low-dose CT scans. The initial symptoms of lung adenocarcinoma are not obvious, and 75% of patients are found to have stage 4 when they are discovered, and symptoms such as persistent cough for more than 2 weeks should be treated immediately, so as not to miss the golden period of treatment. News highlights: after 25 years of integration, more than 200 households finally reached a consensus this year, and a demolition ceremony was held yesterday. The community is located in Yangji Road, Xinyi District, with 4 39-year-old reinforced concrete buildings, identified as sea sand houses after the 921 earthquake, with a total of 223 households. The new 24-story building will be built and is expected to be completed in 2031. The residents sighed goodbye to their homes, choked up and recalled their deceased fathers, regretting that they couldn't wait for more. Deputy Secretary General Wang Yufen said that the case showed the confidence of the municipal government and the patience of residents from the risk of demolition to the successful coordination. News highlights: Wu Yingrong, director of the Taiwan Nutrition Foundation, reminded that cholesterol intake needs to vary from person to person, and about 15 to 30% of high responders eating too much cholesterol will increase bad cholesterol, LDL, and excessive cholesterol not only clogs blood vessels, but also accumulates in the liver to cause steatohepatitis and cirrhosis. She suggested controlling cholesterol sources such as egg yolks and fatty meat, reducing the intake of saturated fat and high omega-6 vegetable oils, eating more vegetables, especially those with fatty liver, 3 highs, and metabolic syndrome, and eating cautiously to protect heart and liver health. News highlights: a 35-year-old female netizen was dissatisfied with being called an elderly woman by the doctor, and angrily criticized this as a senseless label, emphasizing that she was a high-quality mother and was ready to welcome the baby. In this regard, Dr. Chen's Hygiene of Chimay Medical Center explained that it is a medical definition to call a pregnant woman over 35 years old, because pregnant women in this age group are at higher risk and need more medical manpower and preparation, such as emergency teams on standby to ensure the safety of mothers and babies. Dr. Chen calls for respect for the efforts of the medical team and the appreciation of medical resources, which is understood to be to provide better care, not discrimination. News highlights: Peng Yuyin's team recently officially clarified the online rumors, denying the rumors that he and Jolin Tsai reunited in 2019 after breaking up in 2008, emphasizing that the relevant reports are unsubstantiated, and most of them are subjective speculations from unknown sources and edited and spliced videos to mislead the public. Due to the continuous spread of rumors and causing work and family troubles, Peng Yuyin's studio has entrusted a lawyer to investigate and collect evidence, emphasizing that the legal responsibility of those who maliciously infringe on reputation will be investigated in accordance with the law, and calling on the public not to believe or forward false news. News highlights: 42-year-old actress Chen Yangzi held a birthday party in Erhai, Yunnan province on May 31, which was the first time she and Chen Xiao had a single birthday after ending their 7-year marriage. Recently, she posted a number of beautiful photos of Erhai, wearing a green deep V dress to show her beautiful back, ruddy complexion, and excellent condition, which was praised by Chinese netizens for her anti-aging beauty. Fans left comments calling her true beauty back and praising her for her self-love and inner strength. Chen Yangzi also played the mother of the 8-year-old actor Xiao Zhan in the land drama The Legend of the Tibetan Sea, and her image was full of girlishness, which amazed many people. News highlights: local drama actor Yin Zayed has been active in the entertainment industry for 35 years with his handsome appearance and superb acting skills, and he is still frozen at the age of 57. Recently, he revealed that he took his 98-year-old father back to his hometown in Hunan to return to his roots, which was his father's voluntariness, and he was very happy to accompany him for more than a week. Yin's father had fallen at home and his preferences changed greatly, and the family tried nursing and community services but the results were limited, and finally respected his father's wishes and moved to Yuxian County, Hunan Province, where he was taken care of by his granddaughter. News highlights: 63-year-old veteran artist De Ying recently rode an electric car and crashed into the wall, and was injured in the face with 7 stitches, and has fully recovered after a period of recuperation. Her husband Sun Peng revealed that the car accident made De Ying's outlook on life change greatly, becoming more open-minded and her temper improved a lot. On Mother's Day, she also posted a photo of a family of 3 in good condition. Sun Peng also humorously said when he attended the event, hoping that everyone would care more about him rather than other gossip. News highlights: artist Huang An has supported the CCP and cross-strait reunification for many years, and is often called a licking communist artist by Taiwanese netizens, but he still retains Taiwanese nationality. Recently, he shared a performance photo of participating in the Jiangsu Xinyi Music Festival on Weibo, and admitted that he felt old and not good looking because of his swollen face. He revealed that he was born in a Buddhist family, and said that after the age of 60, he vowed to focus on preaching the scriptures, saying that music is a profession, and preaching is a career, and he believes that he has become a monk in a sense. News highlights: Ran Minagawa, an 18-year-old innocent beautiful girl from Chiba Prefecture, decided to enter the AV world because she had less sexual experience and wanted to catch up with her peers. She had sex with only a 30-year-old man until she was 18 and was anxious because she was too busy to gain experience. She belongs to the SOD group, and most of her debut works are shown with light makeup, showing the natural sense of fresh graduates. AV expert Eujian Huan Chunkai praised her temperament and acting skills, but believed that the potential was not yet obvious, and suggested that the audience pay attention to whether her first work could become popular. News highlights: million YouTuber Jump K, LV Yuquan, spent 140 million yuan to open a 150 square meter 3-story flagship store in Dawan, and joined the Sauerkraut Fish restaurant with 8 million yuan, but only 3 days after opening, a wave of employee resignation broke out, and more than half of the manpower was lost, resulting in the rapid exhaustion of ingredients, and he had no choice but to announce the suspension of business for 2 days, which is expected to resume on June 5. Bunkei said that the basic salary has been raised to 30,008, and there is also a high bonus, hoping to attract catering talents to join with preferential treatment, and has dispatched Taichung store staff to support, hoping to stabilize the operation as soon as possible. News highlights: Su Guanggan enlisted in the army in August last year to perform in the Public Welfare Ambassador Group and will be discharged from the army in July. After retiring from the army, his job offer was full, and the film contract for the second half of the year has been fully decided, and his first work will return to the sequel to the film The Thing About Me and the Ghost Became Family. Before joining the army, he had already planned his work plan for this year and was appointed as the global menswear brand ambassador by the international brand Fendi. During this period, he also filmed the film His Year, Her Day produced by Zhang Ijia, which is expected to be released during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Su Guanggan has a positive attitude in service and a positive image, and has become a model for artists to flash soldiers. News highlights: the first quarter moon of Virgo appears today, 3rd, and perfectionism is aggravated, causing emotional and physical discomfort. Tarot teacher Eiffel reminds the 5 zodiac signs of the Sheep, Gemini, Virgin, Sagittarius, and Pisces to pay attention to health. The Peony is prone to gastrointestinal discomfort, the Twin nerves are tense and insomnia, the Virgin anxiety leads to skin problems, the Shooter overwork causes endocrine disorders, and the Pisces has decreased immunity due to emotional suppression. It is recommended that these zodiac signs relax more, adjust their work and mood to avoid health impacts. News highlights: after his dismissal, Fubon Giants 26-year-old mixed-race pitcher, Erman Rodhop, publicly expressed his displeasure on community software, accusing a member of the first team and national team of teasing him as a throwaway clown. He revealed that he only started playing baseball at the age of 20 and entered the profession by self-training, but was thrown away as toilet paper, and criticized the team's culture for not laughing at hard-working players. Erman Rodhop urged people around them to stop if they laughed at their efforts, emphasizing that baseball should be a fun sport. News highlights: since 2017, the Executive Yuan has promoted the Long-Term Care 2.0 plan, setting up more than 400 community long-term care bases to provide courses and care services for the elderly. Recently, some people complained that legislator Fu Kunking and the director of the Central District Office entered the stronghold without being informed to carry out anti-recall propaganda, and occupied half an hour of the course time for the elderly, affecting the conduct of the activities. The Social Affairs Department of the prefectural government said that most of the bases are run by private organizations, and the organization respects the invitation of guests, but will strengthen persuasion to avoid interfering with the classes for the elderly. The budget for Long-Term Care 2.0 has increased year by year, and in addition to courses, community bases also provide a variety of services such as caring visits and health promotion. News highlights: South Korea's new president, Lee Jae-myung, was sworn in today, 4th, vowing to become the president of the people, ending the ideological divisions of the past and focusing on the people and the country's development. He criticized the economic and democratic crisis caused by the incompetence of the previous government and pledged to set up an emergency economic response team to deal with the recession. Lee Jae-myung stressed that the new government will be just and pragmatic, and separatist politics, and will investigate the truth about former President Yoon Suk-yeol's martial law incident to prevent a recurrence. He pledged to pursue all useful policies, regardless of political affiliation, to rebuild a society of coexistence and reconciliation. News highlights: the Air Force upgraded its F-16V BLK-20 fighters in conjunction with the Fengjian project and purchased 6 MS-110 reconnaissance cabins and related equipment from the U.S. military. Recently, the U.S. side tested that the shell of the cabin was ruptured, resulting in unstable signals, which may affect the delivery schedule, and the original delivery in the second half of 2025 may be postponed to 2026. However, the Air Force Command said that the problem has been resolved quickly and will be delivered in batches from 2025, stressing that the training and overall progress will not be affected. The MS-110 has multi-spectrum, all-weather high-resolution reconnaissance capabilities, which can greatly improve the reconnaissance and surveillance performance of F-16 fighters. News highlights: the ground movement and deletion of Yao action to oust DPP legislator Wu Sai-yeo failed due to the sudden retreat of the leader Jiang Kejin, but he continued to promote the signature. Huang Qiuqing of the People's Party showed his support, and it was rumored that he invited the convener Lai Yiren to join the party caucus, but Lai denied and stressed the maintenance of the KMT's identity, calling for unity to hold the legislature seat during the critical period of the anti-recall period, and it is not appropriate to rush to re-elect the party chairman. News highlights today, 4th, under the influence of the stranded front, there will be brief showers or thunderstorms in various parts of Taiwan, and there is a chance of localized heavy rain in the western half, southeast and mountainous areas in the afternoon, and the temperature will drop slightly. Please pay attention to safety when you go out. Mint weather anchor Lin Jiakai pointed out that the front will stay away from the 6th to the 8th, and the weather will gradually stabilize, but there will still be localized rain in the afternoon. It is also estimated that there will be signs of typhoon development in the southern waters next Thursday, 12th, but the path is unclear and not in the direction of Taiwan, and there is no need to worry too much at present. News highlights: 8 people in Taichung mistakenly believed in free Thailand travel, and at the end of 2024, they were transferred to the Myanmar Skem Park after going to Bangkok from Daewon, and became piglets. Among them, 3 women aged about 50 were claimed for a ransom of $300,000 because they could not make electronic products and were deemed unproductive. Released persons recalled having their passports confiscated, their movements restricted and their only access to low-quality meals. The remaining 5 people were quickly sent to the fraud area, and their current status is unknown, which caused netizens to think deeply and be vigilant about free and most expensive. News highlights: Zhuang Ziwen's 17-year-old disciple Ye Yishan was originally invited to participate in the 2025 WTT United States Grand Slam, but was rejected by the Table Association on the grounds of schedule conflicts, without the consent of the parties, causing controversy. The sports department was furious, limited the Table Association to apologize within 24 hours, and threatened to suspend the subsidy. Although the Table Association apologized, it again mentioned the Lin Yunru and Chen Siyu points incident, which attracted the anger of netizens, criticizing him for shirking responsibility and arrogant attitude. News highlights today, 4, marks the 36th anniversary of the Tiananmen massacre, and President Lai Ching-te pointed out in a Facebook post that authoritarianism still threatens global democracy, and Taiwan, as the vanguard of the democratic defense line, will continue to protect freedom. Li stressed that Taiwan has gone through the history of authoritarianism, and it should remember the sacrifices of its predecessors, uphold the value of human rights, cooperate with like-minded countries, jointly resist authoritarian infiltration and oppression, and ensure that the next generation can thrive in a free environment. News highlights Kuomintang legislator Xia Longjia was speaking on the street for fellow party legislator Luo Tinggui a few days ago, angrily recalling the group volunteer for having a child without excise, which caused controversy. Not only did he not apologize afterwards, but he called himself I play incorruptible through the community, criticizing the DPP for not having any clear assets. The relevant remarks were harshly soured by netizens, and they ridiculed his son for being involved in drugs and went abroad to avoid the limelight, questioning his incorruptible statement, and the criticism continued to burn. News highlights Chinese internet celebrity Yao Hezhenyao was sent out by some Chinese and pro-China netizens because of his public support for Taiwan. She emphasized through the video that I am now Taiwanese, and domineeringly shouted that if the two sides of the strait go to war and her husband dies in battle to protect Taiwan, she will personally go to the battlefield to collect the body. Yao said that she has been in Taiwan for more than 10 years and will be buried in Taiwan in the future, emphasizing that this is her home, which has been praised by a large number of netizens as a brave new Taiwanese. News highlights Rainy Yang celebrated her 41st birthday on the 4th, but it coincided with the 36th anniversary of China's June 4th incident, so her Weibo account remained silent and only posted her blessings on IG in a low-key manner. Because she was involved in political remarks in the past, she was repeatedly criticized by Taiwanese netizens, and social media platforms also opened message restrictions. Despite this, her husband Li Ronghao still posted congratulations on Weibo in the early hours of the morning as usual, showing the sweet emotions that have been the same for many years. News highlights Taiwan's new crown epidemic has been heating up rapidly since May, and it is expected to reach a peak from the end of June to the beginning of July, with a single week of confirmed cases that may exceed 200,000. Experts point out that the new crown infection may lead to impaired brain function, with an average IQ drop of 3 points in mild patients, 6 points in long-COVID patients, and even 9 points in severe cases, and each repeated infection will continue to reduce intelligence. Doctors remind you to continue vaccination, wear masks, avoid repeated infections, and seek medical attention as soon as possible when you have symptoms such as brain fog and difficulty concentrating to prevent long-term damage to the brain caused by the virus. News highlights on June 5, the solar term of Mang Zhong. Numerologist Yun Wei pointed out that the three major constellations of Capricorn, Virgin, and Gemini have the most prosperous financial luck. Capricorn has a smooth flow of money, has worked hard in the past to start cashing in on returns, and has a keen sense of financial management. Virgo's salary and investment have good news, and they are good for financial luck and are suitable for adjusting asset allocation. Gemini has a high level of financial fortune, a diverse and stable income, abundant interpersonal support, and a strong financial fortune. It is recommended that this three-star sign seize the opportunity to plan financial management and welcome wealth growth. News highlights the third stage vote for the general recall is expected to be held within 2 months, and the 31 reposed Kuomintang legislators are actively preparing for the war, mobilizing Taipei Mayor Chang Wanan, new Taipei Mayor Hou Yi, Taichung Mayor Liu Zaihuan, and Legislative President Han Kuo-yu and other Blue Camp bigwigs to help form 4 pillars of vote urging. The Blue Committee also actively worked with the People's Party to co-opt supporters in the White Camp to expand the dissenting vote. The undecided voting date made the Blue Committee anxious, but they generally entered the election mode ahead of schedule and returned to the grassroots to worship votes. According to the analysis of the Blue Camp, a turnout of 65%-70% is more conducive to holding the seats, and the supporters of the White Camp will become a key player. News highlights the Finance Committee of the Legislative Yuan held an extraordinary meeting on the 4th to discuss the proposal that the General Accounting Office should immediately allocate subsidies. Democratic Progressive Party legislator Wu Bingrong bitterly criticized Lanbai for first deleting the budget and urgently seeking appropriations, which is unconstitutional and illegal. Blue Camp Lai Shiveo refuted that the procedure was compliant, pointing out that the Green Camp shifted focus. The climax of the clash was for the Democratic Progressive Party Zhong Jiabin to push the People's Party Zhong Kikai, and the scene was chaotic. Chen Yuzhen of the Kuomintang stressed that the statutory subsidy has not been deleted, and asked the Green Camp not to be confused. The final meeting reached an impasse, which could affect the subsequent budget deliberations. News highlights Hong Kong media reported on the 3rd that legislator Shen Boyang and his family were involved in scandals such as accumulating money, reselling Chinese goods for profit, and cheating in marriage. Shen Boyang countered, saying that the Communist Party could not find a way to attack him, and instead put pressure on his family, and questioned that the wave of attacks was related to his push for the National Security Bill to be blocked. He believes that China does not intend to give Taiwan too much time, and is laying out cognitive warfare in advance, calling on public actors to be wary of similar attacks. Shen Boyang lamented that he was tired of being used by the CCP to spread rumors in full-page newspapers, and ridiculed the other party for falsely claiming that he had a house in the United States, satirizing the absurdity of waiting for the key to open the door. News highlights Native American actor Jonathan Joss, best known for his animated head of the family in the series Parks and Recreation, was shot dead at the age of 59. Police arrived at the scene after being informed and died despite first aid attempts. Joss was a comrade who came out in the closet, and when he struggled to push away the suspect who shot him, he saved the life of her husband De Gonzalez, but sacrificed himself. The suspect has now been arrested. De Gonzalez has publicly stated that the two were hatefully bullied because of their homosexuality, and Joss's death is sad and highlights the absurdity and meaninglessness of hate violence. News highlights a handsome male policeman from the Tianjin branch of Kaohsiung had an affair with a female policeman from the same police station, and the female policeman even lured her with a selfie leg photo. Both sides were given minor demerits and transferred out of their original units, but they were still disconnected. The policewoman was once reprimanded for the dragon and lion dance, and was active among her colleagues as Captain America cosplay. The incident sparked heated discussions within the police department and outside the world. News highlights after the 26-year-old Taiwanese-Iranian mixed-race pitcher Erman Rothop was discharged from the Fubon team, he posted on social media to confide in his heart, saying that he was ridiculed by the players of the first national team, lamenting that he worked hard to train himself into the professional baseball, but was treated as toilet paper that is thrown away when it is used up. He revealed that he was sneered at many times by his friends, emphasizing that hard work should not be humiliated, and calling for not to ridicule everyone who struggles for their dreams. Erman Rothop only started playing in college, and after 2 failed selections, he finally entered the profession on a self-training contract, but was released after only 3 games in the second team, which made him feel helpless and lost. News highlights the perpetrator Yu Weng was pronounced dead in the early morning of May 31 in a major car accident in the Three Gorges that killed 2 school children and 1 parent, and the cause of death is still to be clarified. Yu Weng's family has not apologized to the victim's family, and the funeral hall was set up on June 3, but the words Duang Yongzhao, Dai Chong Zhao and Eternal Victory appeared on the flower baskets, causing strong dissatisfaction among the public, who felt that they had no remorse and downplayed their responsibilities. Among them, the Eternal Victory flower basket has been removed, and the incident has sparked social condemnation. News highlights due to the high pressure of family and work, coupled with staying up late to watch dramas, and uneven diet, modern people are prone to weight loss and accelerated body aging. Yan Zhuohua, director of Liangxin Clinic, pointed out that non-feeling stress refers to the long-term high pressure of the body, although the appearance is normal, but due to poor sleep, unbalanced diet, decreased immunity, etc., gradually deplete cell repair power, accelerate chronic inflammation and aging. He recommends regular health check UPS, lifestyle adjustments, antioxidant nutrient supplementation, and conscious stress regulation through mindfulness practices to detect and improve body imbalances in advance, so as to delay aging and promote health. News highlights South Korea's new president, Lee Jae-myung, is likely to speak with US President Donald Trump today, which will be the first time the two have spoken on the phone. The content of the call is expected to focus on Trump's congratulations on Lee Jae-myung's inauguration and the reaffirmation of the willingness of the two sides to cooperate, but it may also touch on sensitive issues such as the North Korean nuclear issue and discuss the arrangements for the South Korea-US summit meeting. Diplomatic circles predict that Lee will visit the United States in July and August, with the prospect of meeting with Trump or the first face-to-face talks on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Canada or the NATO summit in the Netherlands in June. News highlights Taichung Mayor Liu Zhihuan expressed her gratitude and praised the courage of the legislators, emphasizing that the health and air quality of the 7 million people in central China are guaranteed. She criticized the central government's inappropriate energy policy, which has led to people in central and southern China using their lungs to generate electricity, and the lung cancer rate is among the highest in the country. In response to a cyber attack on Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang and Pegatron chairman Tong Xixian over energy policy, Liu Zhihuan expressed support and angrily denounced the central government's incompetence, demanding clean, cheap and sufficient electricity to protect people's basic human rights. News highlights it rained heavily in Nanzi, Kaohsiung yesterday, and when a 45-year-old man surnamed Liu drove past the Nanzi Land Bridge, he was suspected to have lost control of the vehicle due to the slippery road in the rain, and rushed into the slow lane after hitting the fast and slow lane separation island, and the left wheel was broken. Fortunately, there were no casualties caused by the passing motorcyclists, but the traffic in the slow lane was blocked for a while. The result of the police alcohol test showed no alcohol reaction, and the cause of the accident is still pending further analysis by the traffic brigade. The accident process was recorded by the motorcyclist's dashcam and uploaded to the internet, causing concern. The police reminded drivers to slow down and keep a safe distance when driving in rainy weather, and pay attention to road conditions to ensure safety. News highlights the death of a 78-year-old elderly man surnamed Yu in the Three Gorges car accident, which caused 4 deaths and 11 injuries, aroused social concern about the issue of elderly driving and unlicensed driving. Recently, there have been fraudulent advertisements in the name of the Transportation Research Institute of the Ministry of Communications to conduct false polls under the pretense of issues related to elderly driving. The institute urgently issued a statement clarifying that the advertisement had nothing to do with the institute and involved false information, which was likely to mislead the public and damage the reputation of the institute. The institute has reported this fraud to the police, and appealed to the public not to be gullible, to verify suspicious information through official channels, and to report to the 165 anti-fraud hotline or relevant units if necessary, so as to protect their own rights and interests. News highlights: after 47-year-old Sun Zizi married his wife Xia Yatong, who was 10 years younger than him, his health was a cause for concern. The health examination found that his blood sugar level was close to pre-diabetes, and his blood lipids were high 2 years ago. In order to take a long-term path with his beloved wife in the future, Sun Zizi has actively carried out health management, successfully lost 6 kilograms, and adjusted his life and rest through sugar-controlled diet, exercise, and fasting, hoping to reverse his illness and protect his family. News highlights: Japanese media reported that Yorihiko Sakata, the owner of Saitama's Sakata Optical Store, reminded that glasses lenses should not be directly dry erased, as they are easy to scratch and damage the anti-reflective coating. Proper cleaning should be rinsed with tap water, then pat dry with a soft cloth, and wet wipes with water-contaminated glasses can be used when going out. Avoid using acidic and alkaline detergents, and it is recommended to use a special lotion for glasses. Some netizens think that wiping is harmless, but professionals warn that long-term dry wiping can still damage the lenses. Sakata recommends going to the store every 3 months to adjust the frames to ensure comfort and extend the life of your glasses. News highlights: TSMC Chairman Wei Jieqia said on the 3rd that orders for humanoid robot chips are very good and have begun to be reflected in the financial report, and it is expected to bring significant operational contributions from 2026 to 2027. Market funds poured into humanoid robot concept stocks, and many stocks such as Yinghan and Bintai rose sharply. Hechun has cooperated with China Pudu Technology to launch intelligent robot solutions, and Yagwang has tried to cooperate with European and American customers, and is expected to enter a period of rapid growth in 2 to 3 years. Humanoid robots are regarded as a new flashpoint for AI applications and one of TSMC's future growth drivers. News highlights: the United States is accelerating its July 9 deadline with its trading partners and has reached a preliminary framework with the United Kingdom, with Taiwan, Switzerland, and Israel most likely to be completed first, and Japan and South Korea are also expected to make progress. The Trump administration is facing tariff legal challenges and is pursuing other avenues to pursue its trade claims, including possible new investigations into India and Vietnam, as well as the use of the 1974 Trade Act to impose tariffs. Trade tensions between the United States and Europe have risen, and the European Union has warned that it will launch countermeasures if negotiations fail. The analysis pointed out that the US may extend the tariff moratorium period and reach more easing agreements. News highlights: according to the Kaohsiung National Taxation Bureau, according to the current tax law, the distribution of property and the payment of alimony agreed in the divorce agreement or court judgment are exempt from gift tax in principle, and the recipient does not need to declare comprehensive income tax. However, if the additional payment after the divorce is not included in the agreement or judgment, it will be regarded as a gratuitous gift, subject to tax and may be penalized. The IRS advises people to keep detailed records of the distribution and payment of property when going through a divorce, and keep written proof to avoid future tax disputes and protect their rights and interests. News highlights: from January to May this year, the number of buildings sold and transferred in Liudo hit a new low in nearly 8 years, and if you want to sell a house, you should find a professional real estate agent. Chen Jixian of Yongqing Housing suggested 3 principles. First, shop around, choose an intermediary who provides complete and honest real price information, and avoid valuing only based on feelings. The second is to avoid the trap of overvaluation, which will reduce the purchase gas and even lead to the homeowner finally reducing the price and selling at a low price. The third is to observe whether the agent has the right sales tools and channels, which can positively reward the buyer's response, help the owner adjust the strategy, and accelerate the transaction. News highlights: traditional Chinese medicine practitioner Yu Yan pointed out that chronic fatigue is not a single organ problem, but an imbalance in the internal organs caused by poor lifestyle. The 4 main culprits include: looking at mobile phones and computers for a long time hurts the liver and blood, sitting for a long time impairs spleen and stomach function, prolonged bed-based air machine block, emotional stress is too much and it hurts the heart. She suggests that instead of eating a lot of health supplements, it is better to improve sleep, adjust work and mood first, and pair it with medicinal soups that replenish qi and strengthen the spleen, so that the body and mind can naturally recover and rejuvenate. News highlights: a drowning accident occurred in the Taitung Sky Mirror on the 2nd. An 18-year-old high school student was swept away by the waves while playing with his younger brother, and the elder brother gave the floating board to his younger brother to save himself, but unfortunately drowned. The brother came from a poor family, and his brother had excellent grades, so he wanted to take a leave of absence from school to work, but the school persuaded him to complete his studies. The school said that he was active and responsible, and was deeply loved by teachers and students, and the incident was poignant. The rescuers reminded the public to pay attention to the safety of the sea area, and the school also activated the care mechanism and strengthened drowning prevention education, and continued to pay attention to the physical and mental condition of the younger brother. News highlights Jiangxi internet celebrity Geu, real name Duan Swexia, died on June 1 at the age of 48 after 14 days of rescue due to a sudden cerebral hemorrhage and coma. Duan Yu became popular on the live broadcast platform with his cover of sad songs, with 90,000 fans. She is a single mother, and in order to support her family, she has broadcast live at a high frequency, up to 3 times a day, and completed more than 270 shows in just 4 months, and her health is suspected to have deteriorated due to work pressure. Duan Yu left behind 3 children and a granddaughter, and relatives, friends, and teachers deeply regretted it, and the school also expressed condolences. News highlights the MAC clarified that holders of Chinese mainland identity cards, household registration, or passports will lose their Taiwan status and cancel their household registration, but the residence permits, same city passes, Taiwan compatriot permits, bank cards, and transportation cards held by ordinary people will not affect their status, and they will only be alerted to the risk of leakage of personal information. The administrative agency has explicitly ordered that current military and public education personnel are not allowed to apply for residence permits in Chinese mainland, because they have a duty of loyalty to the state, and holding the permits may involve cooperation with the CCP's United Front, and it is strictly forbidden to apply for them. News highlights in the face of questions from opposition and local leaders, Minister of the Interior Liu Shifang expressed his understanding of the differences between the society on historical sentiments, but stressed that transitional justice and procedural justice are indispensable, and the name change work must be communicated and promoted, and the position remains unchanged. She admitted that it is impossible to estimate the cost, and that she will use the Transit Promotion Fund to assist if necessary, depending on local autonomy regulations and budget needs. As for the names of non-local roads such as the Ministry of National Defense's Jingguo number, Liu stressed that they are not within the scope of the Ministry of the Interior's duties. News highlights the U.S. government issued a statement after South Korea's presidential election on June 3 congratulating Lee Jae-myung on his election, emphasizing the indestructibility of the ROK-U.S alliance and announcing that it will modernize the alliance and deepen trilateral cooperation with South Korea and Japan to strengthen regional security and economic resilience. The White House rarely named China, expressing serious concern in opposition to its interference in global democracies, and sending a strong signal calling on South Korea to keep its distance from China policy, reflecting the continued vigilance of the U.S. side of China's use of economic cooperation to strengthen its influence and affect regional strategic autonomy. News highlights the foundation to which DPP legislator Shen Boyang belongs was previously accused of receiving funding from the United States, causing controversy. On the 3rd, Hong Kong media broke the news that Taiwan Trillion Co., Limited, operated by his father Shen Duzhen, has hundreds of millions of yuan in trade with mainland enterprises in Zhejiang, Guangdong, Fujian, and other places, and alluded to Shen's father that he is suspected of having a mainland junior. Shen Boyang strongly denied the rumors, and asked rhetorically, "Do you want to attack my father now?" He also called for caution in seeking verification and not being influenced by false news. News highlights the Labor Insurance Bureau of the Ministry of Labor has conducted a comprehensive inventory of more than 3 million workers in Taiwan's registered professional trade unions, and if it is found that those who do not meet the requirements will be reduced to zero overnight, and all pensions will be cancelled. Labor insurance expert Kui Zhiling Guang pointed out that 8 situations will be surrendered, including simple nominal non-work, non-compliant double insurance, unlicensed insurance, hospitalization, long-term overseas insurance, serving prison sentences, unpaid union dues and quitting the union. The purpose of this inventory is to prevent the phenomenon of annuity zombies and ensure that the rights and interests of labor insurance are not infringed. News highlights Kuomintang spokesman Li Mingxian was recently preaching anti-recall activities around Taiwan, when he encountered an angry citizen who angrily criticized the Taiwan authorities for their mess, that everyone was not having enough to eat, and that they were still holding a general recall. Zhang Zhongzheng will not be in pain, the people will be in pain. Li Mingxian responded that she was promoting anti-recall, and the other party smiled when he saw that she was Li Mingxian. She lamented that while the people are struggling to make ends meet, the government is busy with politics, criticizing the government for having more leisure and more food, and questioning the future direction of the country. News highlights Liana Koi, a flight attendant in Connecticut, reminded that you should not change seats with strangers when you take a plane, because if the other party behaves abnormally, the responsibility will be counted on the passenger in the original seat. In addition, some airlines need to bind a credit card to the app for in-flight consumption, which may face the risk of theft after changing seats. She shared that she only discovered this problem after agreeing to change seats, and reminded passengers to inform the cabin crew before changing seats. The video sparked heated discussions, and a number of flight attendants and ground staff also called on passengers to comply with the regulations and avoid consumer disputes. News highlights the results of the South Korean presidential election were announced, and Lee Jae-myung, the candidate of the Democratic Party of Korea, won. Lee Jae-myung has taken a more progressive stance, advocating greater government spending, strengthening labor rights, and adopting a more balanced diplomatic stance in favor of dialogue with North Korea. Voters, mostly dissatisfied with the previous government's martial law measures and social divisions, supported him even though they were not entirely satisfied with his political views. South Korea is facing Trump's tariff pressures and slowing economic growth, and the new president will have to juggle economic recovery, diplomatic negotiations, and social reconciliation. News highlights: the Ministry of the Interior announced that it would promote the renaming of Chongzheng Road in Taiwan, triggering a backlash from local governments. Minister Liu Shifeng stressed that the name change is stipulated in the regulations to promote the transfer, but it is the responsibility of the local government, and the Ministry of the Interior will continue to communicate with the local government and residents, and promote it in accordance with the law after reaching a consensus. The Green Committee pointed out that because more than half of the counties and cities in Laniang County and City, more detailed communication is needed to promote it. The local government reported that the name change involved a lot of manpower and costs, and for example, the Tang Dezang Avenue in Tainan was not actually registered. The Ministry of Home Affairs reiterates its legal obligation to change the name and will handle it with care and respect local opinions. News highlights: billionaire Elon Musk slammed Trump's proposed congressional spending bill as a disgusting abomination and criticized those who voted for it as a shame. Although the bill slashes healthcare and food subsidies, it is expected to increase the U.S. deficit by trillions of dollars over the next 10 years. Musk, who previously criticized the bill with restraint during his tenure at the government's efficiency ministry, now stressed that the bill will increase the debt burden of the people. A White House spokesman responded that Trump was aware of Musk's position and would still insist on pushing the bill. News highlights: YouTube recently released the 20.22.1 update for iOS and iPadOS, which increased the minimum system requirements to iOS 16 and iPadOS 16, resulting in older models such as iPhone SIXS, iPhone 7 series, iPhone SE1, iPad Air 2 and iPad Mini 4 unable to upgrade to the latest system and no longer be able to install or update the latest version of the YouTube app. Users will still be able to watch the video through the browser, but some features such as offline playback and notifications will be limited. It is recommended that users consider changing their phones or replacing them with browsers to ensure user experience and security. News highlights: after the marriage of former Weather Girl member Liu Yingjian, Ice, and her current husband Yazai, they met AKA's Hannah, a married internet celebrity spiritual mentor, because of their enthusiasm for spiritual growth courses, and the three fell into a double indecent relationship. Last year, she started taking classes such as meditation and attended offline classes in AKA's Hannah with her husband. After the course, she went to Dubai to study the spiritual course, and planned to go to an orphanage in Kenya to do public welfare, but did not return to Taiwan for more than a month. On the day she returned to China, she suddenly told Yazai that she didn't love anymore, and explained her feelings for her husband in her previous life, which made Yazai sad. News highlights: the well-known lawyer Lee Yujin broke the news that a Lottie cheerleader had a sweet beauty and became a wealthy businessman and had an abortion, which sparked heated discussions, and Yu, Linda, Meng Ji, Ai Rong, Youngzi, and others were suspected of being involved in the case. Rakuten's most positive MC Ai Rong strongly denied that he was the protagonist of the incident, and clarified that he did not have a pet, and he felt depressed and wanted to cry in the face of the mistaken accusation. Although it was later confirmed that the real junior was someone else, and the implicated girl was innocent, the Times Weekly captured Ai Rong and the second generation of Ferrari Fu on an intimate date in Xinyi district, showing that the two were in love. News highlights: Yan Chensu, Zhou Yuman, Wu Jianhao and Zhu Xiaotian were once popular all over Asia with F4 and Meteor Garden, and after disbanding in 2009, they only briefly combined in the 2013 Spring Festival Gala. Recently, it was reported that it is believed that music has contributed to the consensus of the four people, and they will hold a concert for the 25th anniversary of their debut next year, and plan to tour the Asian market. In the past, F4 was separated due to personality differences and knots, but the comeback of the energy group successfully inspired F4 to reunite. Yan Chensu, Wu Jianhao and others have been active in the field of performing arts and live broadcast in recent years, and this combination not only meets the expectations of fans, but also brings huge business opportunities, especially in the cross-strait and Japanese and South Korean markets. News highlights: the well-known internet celebrity singer Yu, real name Duan Swexia, died at the age of 48 due to a sudden cerebral hemorrhage. On May 8, she suddenly felt a severe headache before the live broadcast, and then fell into a coma and was sent to the hospital, and after 14 days of rescue, she still did not regain consciousness. Duan Yu became popular with his covers of sad songs, with 90,000 fans, and a huge workload, completing 270 live broadcasts in just 4 months, and overwork is suspected to be the main cause of health deterioration. As a single mother, she is raising 3 children on her own, and her second daughter is about to take the college entrance examination. Musician Lee Feng-yi sighed that Duan Yu still insisted on live broadcast on the day of the incident, which is regrettable. News highlights: South Korean actor Park Bo-young was originally scheduled to start an overseas fan meeting tour in 2025, including Macau, Bangkok and Taiwan, but on June 2, BH Entertainment suddenly announced that it would be temporarily postponed due to internal reasons, and Macau's June 29 show was cancelled and fully refunded, causing heated discussions among fans and netizens. Some netizens speculated that it might be due to poor box office or epidemic factors, but BH Entertainment did not specify the reason, only apologized to fans, promised to return in a better state, and explained that the tickets will be refunded in full, and the relevant information will be announced separately. News highlights the Executive Yuan's unified deletion of 25% of the general subsidy triggered a local backlash, and the Finance Committee of the Legislative Yuan invited 22 county and city governments to discuss with the Central Ministry today, 4th, and the meeting broke out into a fierce quarrel at the beginning. Democratic Progressive Party legislator Wu Bingrong criticized the meeting as unconstitutional and suggested that the meeting be adjourned, while the blue and white legislators countered the accusation that the Executive Yuan had illegally deleted subsidies. The DPP caucus also held a press conference, emphasizing that even if the 63.6 billion yuan was cut, the local budget still hit a new high, and criticized blue and white as a political issue to cover up the pressure of recall. News highlights affected by the stranded front, Orchid Island and Taitung suffered heavy rainfall yesterday. 3. There was a landslide on the Orchid Island Ring Road, and many places in Taimuri and Taitung were flooded, and a family of 5 in Dawang village evacuated in advance because they lived near the hillside. The local embankment has not yet been repaired, and residents are worried about another disaster. A sick woman in Huayuan village, Taimuri was also evacuated as a precautionary measure. The rain continued today, 4th, and the staff braved the rain to clear the road surface, and the meteorological department appealed to the mountainous areas to prevent collapse and low-lying areas to prevent water accumulation. News highlights the well-known Shabu Shabu brand in Taipei, known as Prada in the hot pot industry, was investigated by the Inspection and Investigation because the basement was converted into a private room and was suspected of illegal construction. The person in charge of the business, surnamed Lin, was accused of bribing the former head of the North City Construction Management Office surnamed Guo for nearly 50,000 yuan, and the two paid bail of 100,000 yuan and 150,000 yuan respectively. The industry shouted that it was frequently reported due to the impact of divorce disputes, emphasizing that he had the property rights of the basement and did not know the civil servants involved in the case, and would cooperate with the judicial investigation to clarify. News highlights an 85-year-old grandmother in Wuri, Taichung, was abused by an Indonesian caretaker, and her family found through the monitor that the grandmother was repeatedly beaten, brutalized, and even beaten with her backhand during the care process. I thought that bruising was a side effect of the medication, but it continued to appear after stopping the drug. The family called the police and complained of the injury, but the caretaker denied the violence, arguing that it was justified defense. The agency has been indifferent, and the Social Affairs Bureau and the Labor Department have intervened, and if the abuse is true, their work permits will be revoked and the intermediaries will be held accountable. News highlights the Legislative Yuan has drastically cut the total budget of the Taiwan authorities, triggering a blue-green standoff. Kuomintang legislator Wu Zongxian said that the money that was cut was money for eating and drinking, and the administrative agency counterattacked and listed the deleted projects including important funds for defense, energy, and AI industries, and demanded a public apology. Wu Zongxian replied that the government should apologize to the whole people for cutting the statutory obligatory expenditure, and the two sides approved each other's budget cuts and improper wording, which caused the conflict between the government and the opposition to continue to heat up. News highlights affected by the stranded front. The Central Meteorological Administration issued a special report on heavy rain for central and southern China and Taitung, including Green Island, on the 4th, and there were more localized heavy rains in the Lanyu area. The western half and southeast, as well as mountainous areas, are likely to rain heavily in the afternoon, and people must guard against lightning strikes, strong winds, and mountain collapses. The temperature in Taiwan has dropped, with a high temperature of about 24 to 25 degrees in the north, 27 to 28 degrees in other areas, and short showers or thunderstorms in outlying islands. News highlights a serious car accident occurred at 3:14 a.m. on the 4th in New Taipei City. A 76-year-old man surnamed Huang drove through the new North Ring Road Express in Xindian District, suspected of not paying attention to the situation ahead, and hit the pier of Zhongyan Bridge. The front of the car was seriously deformed, the pier was also damaged, and a large number of bricks were scattered. When the police arrived, Huang Nan was unconscious and was still declared dead at 4:22 after being sent to the hospital for emergency treatment. News highlights tomorrow, 5, is the mango seed in the 24 solar terms, symbolizing the official arrival of summer. Numerology expert Yang Dengchang reminded that the climate is hot and humid during the mango planting season, so you should eat a light diet, drink more mung bean soup, and eat mulberries to nourish your body. Those who belong to the tiger, horse, sheep, and dog should pay special attention to the health of the spleen, stomach and intestines, avoid visiting the sick and mourning, and it is recommended to carry amulets to keep them safe. In addition, sexual life should be avoided on the 9 Poison Day and Heaven and Earth Friendship Day in the 5th lunar month to avoid depletion of vitality. News highlights Melody, the hostess of the talk show 11 O'Clock Hot Shop, resigned because her child went abroad to study, and the production unit was actively looking for a new host. Recently, it was rumored that Wu Shanru intended to take over, but his father Wu Zongxian solemnly denied it, emphasizing that TVBS took the initiative to invite him, but his daughter had declined, and he himself did not tell the TV station. TVBS said that the host selection is still under discussion and has not yet been finalized, and thanks to the audience's attention. The show has been widely praised since its launch in 2020, and is currently hosted by Shan Yulin and many actresses in turn. News highlights at 8:02 p.m. yesterday, 3rd, in Xindian District, New Taipei City, a bus collided with a reverse rental car. The 43-year-old woman surnamed Pan was suspected of being in good spirits, drove in the opposite direction into the opposite lane, and crashed into a bus traveling in the right direction. There was no drunk driving on both sides of the police alcohol test, but fortunately there were no casualties in the accident. The scene has been cleared by a towing company and a cleaning team, and the cause of the incident is still to be investigated. News highlights affected by the stranded front today, 4th. Meteorological expert Wu Durong reminded that there are prone to short-term heavy rainfall and severe weather in various places, and Baitai is getting cooler. The front moved southward on Thursday, and the rain intensified in the afternoon. On Friday and Saturday, the eastward movement weakened, and the temperature rose day by day. Taiwan will be shrouded in a warm air mass from next week, and the weather will be hot, with localized showers in the afternoon. In addition, there are signs of tropical disturbance development in the South China Sea and the Eastern Sea of the Philippines, but the patterns of various countries are different, and it still needs to be observed.